I remember, audience, listen to what I'm saying now. I remember going to, for those of you from Canada, from Toronto, Scarborough Town Center,
Oh yeah.
and I see a big picture of Andre in the middle of the mall, and I'm like, yo, that's Dre from high school, man. Real Talk with Star Scorpio, episode 109. Today, I got a brother from way back, someone I went to Victoria Park High School with, Andre Agate. You've seen him in the modeling world, acting, training, and now rebuilding after a serious accident. We're about to get into his journey, his grind, and his comeback story. Andre, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen, thanks for having me. Episode 109. I appreciate the look, man. It's been a while. We've been trying to do this for years.
For years, it's
Not even a minute, for
for
years.
years, and it doesn't seem like that because we're talking about COVID. That's
Yeah.
when I started my podcast, 2020, 2021.
Okay.
And I remember I asked you to be on it. And it's like, where did the time go? Because now it's like 3.5 years later. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
It almost seems like it was just a stone's throw away, but the amount of years that have passed, like my daughter is a COVID university athlete. We
Oh,
couldn't travel with her to visit the schools when she was
yeah.
on her scholarship journey. And
Yeah.
so she went on a plane during COVID for the first time on her own, flew to her state, went into school. So, and now she's graduated. So that's what, 6 years, five
Holy,
years. She's in her
yeah.
sixth year now. She transferred again to do her master's program. But yeah, 5 years.
Wow. And we were talking before I hit record, like blink of an eye. This is getting crazy. I'm 52, you're 53.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, where does it go, right?
You got
Yeah.
to utilize the years.
Yes, you do. Okay, Dre, we like to start from the beginning on Real Talk. So, what I want to ask, because I don't even know this, where were you born and raised?
So I was born Toronto, Canada, Scarborough General Hospital,
Mm,
and spent all my years right around Scarborough Town Center up until the age of 10 or 11.
yeah.
One day my parents came to me and said, "We're moving to North York." The amount of tears that came down, man. I left my crew back in Scarborough,
Yeah.
moved to North York, a new territory with people I didn't know anything about, but
Mm,
it all worked out in the end, man.
yeah. Wait,
And so
what?
I bounced back between, we're Chinese Jamaican, family is Jamaican heritage. So we would bounce back between Jamaica in the summers and, you know, Toronto the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask though. So, two things. So, you're Chinese Jamaican. Which parent is the
Right. So
Chinese side?
we're mixed up. We got that melting pot,
Okay.
My mom is half Chinese
Mhm.
and so her father was full Chinese
Yeah.
and her mother was Scottish and black, much
Okay.
more black than Scottish.
Mhm.
And then my dad was black and some Scottish,
Mhm.
darker than me, but with blue eyes. It was very odd to see. Yeah, it was
Wow.
crazy. They changed colors, and yeah, true melting pot, man.
Yo, you know what I was surprised to see because I didn't know this. My wife and I were watching a Bob Marley documentary,
Okay,
and I didn't know Bob Marley's father was white.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know this, man. It was
and you
like,
don't know that.
yeah.
You don't know that.
Hmm.
Pretty
So,
interesting.
so for you though, born and raised in Toronto,
Hmm.
what age were you when you first went back to Jamaica? Because I want to know, was there a culture shock for you? Because I know when I went to Barbados for the first time, I was like, whoa. But
No, we'll see. Again, we're born here,
yeah.
but we went every year to Jamaica because all my
Oh,
family was
from
from. So there was
okay.
no big thing. I mean, I am a the biggest memory I have of Jamaica is the beach because I'm a water baby through and through. I'm a Pisces. I don't know if
Yeah.
it has anything to do with that, but I grew up on Doctors Cay Beach in Montego Bay,
Yeah.
and like every time I go, that's where I am. When you want to find me, that's where I am,
Okay.
somewhere on the ocean.
Yeah.
And so all my cousins are from there, all my aunts and uncles. So we had beautiful times down there.
Yeah.
And we don't have as many contacts there now. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, but
Oh, sorry.
I,
Yeah.
not to seem like a philanthropist or anything like that, but I have some connections where I help some people out
Hmm.
down there that helped out my dad when he was going through hard times,
Hmm.
and I think it's only right to give back. Man, I
Oh,
could I could draw a tear when I think about those people down there now, man, what they're going through. So
I I was gonna ask you, do you, because you know the area,
yeah,
so do you know anyone that was affected by this hurricane then?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
So you know, you look at it like this, you see the videos and whatnot, and you see the big houses with the roofs off. I'm not so much worried about those people as I am the people who live in like in the countryside,
Yeah.
captured land, which they don't own the land, and they're stringing electricity off to their little 12 by 12-foot shack that they're building, scraping to get money by. Those are the people that I worry about because Jamaica is not the same. The
Hmm.
other areas of the world are not the same. Like the rich are coming in and buying up everything
Yeah.
and just pushing the underprivileged people, to the side. So I have a couple of people that I'll shoot some money to
Hmm.
because I know I'm blessed and I'm fortunate that they could definitely use it in these times, man. So, and again, I'm paying it forward because they helped out my dad when he was down there sick and dying, and they
Yeah.
didn't have to.
Wow.
Trust me, they didn't have to.
Yeah. Yo, tell me something, Dre. I always had this feeling. I've told many people on my podcast where I was always a caring person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And always doing things for people. And I don't know what age it was, 45 until now. I have this feeling to always help out and give back because you do feel fortunate,
Yeah,
especially us living here in North America. You feel fortunate in a lot of ways. And any kind of help that you can give, whether it be in this country, in another country, do you feel that innate feeling to help people too now?
I do. I've always had it, and your listeners they'll probably think this is crazy. I've always been strong. I've always been healthy. And it was at a young age that I remember I walked in, I was probably about 14, 12, 13, 14. Walked
Mhm.
in from junior high and I saw my mom on the steps clutching her heart. And she was basically, that was the genesis of her finding out she was had to have a quadruple heart bypass. So I've always had this feeling of, man, I'm healthy. There are people out there who are less fortunate. I got to help them out. And pretty much, your public might laugh at this, but when I can, since that age till now, I'll give my mom a foot rub every day of the week if I can.
Yeah.
Because the doctors told me from back then, you keep the blood circulating. That's how you can help her the most. So when I drop in and I can do it for her, I'll do it for her. And I just don't like to see people in pain. I don't want to be in pain, like mentally or physically.
Yeah.
And when I see people who I can help who really need the help, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the beggar up there. Remember the shaky lady, how she had that big screen TV, but she got all that money? I'm not
Yeah.
talking about those scammers. I'm
Mhm.
talking about those that can really use the help. I have no
Yeah.
problem helping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. Because as we know, a lot of people aren't fortunate, and some of the people that we even grew up with have passed on early in life.
yes,
And we can drop names both on both
yeah,
sides, and it's like, wow, we're still here.
yes,
So you got to pay it forward. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because you never know. You never know when the night the next time you slip and fall, you wake up, you hear this person's gone. So you definitely, as soon as my eyes open these days, I thank God, like unconsciously even, because
Yes.
I'm glad for another day.
Yeah.
And you'll
Amazing.
hear why I'm glad for another day when we get to talking about it.
Oh, yep. And the audience is gonna hear it too. Um, Going back to school now, though, I want to know if I know the junior high, because I know what high school you went to. We went to the
Yeah,
same high school, but what junior high did you go to?
I went to Zion Heights.
Oh, you went to Zion Heights?
Yeah, Zion over on Leslie. Yeah, it was a true
Yo,
culture shock.
I remember Zion because we played them because that was
Oh,
junior high, right? So we
yeah.
played them in volleyball when I was in Donview
Oh,
Junior
really?
High.
Okay.
We played Zion Heights. Yeah, I remember that. What area is that in again?
That's North York.
North York, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I didn't even play any sports there. It's funny. I didn't do anything there.
yeah.
I played football, but not at junior high.
Not in junior high.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then in VP, my junior high Donview,
Okay.
we were unique, man. Our school went to grade 9.
Sorry.
So
Where's Don?
Donview Junior High, it's Parkwoods. I don't know if you know the
Yes,
Parkwoods
yes.
area. Yeah. It's I don't even know what it's called now. Donview Middle School, something
Yeah.
like that. But anyway, it went to grade 9. So we started high school in grade 10.
Okay.
So my brother and Dwayne, Greg, all the crew was already
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So even though I was like I don't know anybody, most people started VP in grade 9. So they
Yeah.
know everybody by grade 10, right?
Exactly.
So I still felt like, kind of shy and like timid,
Yeah.
but because I still knew, the older guys and my brother was there,
For sure.
it was kind of easier for me.
Right.
But did you start VP in grade 9?
My friend, that was a journey in itself.
Let
I
me
was
know.
supposed to go to from Zion to AY Jackson.
AY Jack.
So I was
Okay.
already settled into the demographic in that area for
Yeah.
years now. When they told me I didn't have the aptitude to go to AY Jackson, I had to bus from here, Don Mills and Finch, or Bayview and Cumber area, all the way to Vic Park and Ellesmere. And I was like, what the heck? Culture shock, big
Yeah.
time.
Mm.
And not so much culture, but just the VP was rough back then.
Yeah.
And that was grade 9. I'll never forget it. Some of the sights that I saw when I rolled up for the orientation on the first day. It's a little, it's not PG, so I can't
Yeah.
really talk to it too much on this.
Yeah.
But it was probably the best thing that could ever happen to me.
Wow.
Absolutely,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely.
Wait, tell me something. Because I know you. Everyone knows, well, everyone that knows me from school that I'm 5'7", right? But I had the
Yeah,
vertical, right? Which
crazy.
got me by a lot of things. But you're I think you're around the 6'1". Are you 6'1"?
No, see, I
6?
I thought I was 6'1"
Yeah.
until I went to university, and they lined us up for our stats, and they labeled me at 5'11" and 3/4,
Okay.
just 6 foot,
Okay.
just
6 foot.
6 foot.
But I want to know, were you a late bloomer? Some of these questions I
Yeah.
ask people is for a purpose because sometimes when boys are late bloomers,
Mhm.
they're more shy, timid, and don't want to
Yeah,
talk to the girls, whatever. But then you got those tall guys, right?
yeah.
But I want to know, were you a late bloomer or were you
I
always tall?
say I was always physically gifted genetically. My dad was a pretty good athlete and whatnot,
Yeah.
but I definitely got stronger as I evolved in my years. But I was a late bloomer in terms of my confidence. I
Oh.
always masked it with athletics because
Mhm.
when you're an athlete and you're pretty good, you can get by on a lot of different levels in life.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, it really was Victoria Park High School, and where I went after Vic Park to play my football, where my world just opened up and I saw it for what it was, and I was no longer that shy kid back in Zion and whatnot because I was
Okay.
real shy,
Yeah.
painfully shy.
Yeah. I forgot how we met. I knew you were quiet though.
Yeah.
But I forgot how we met. But we finally had a class together,
Okay.
economics with Mr. Ruddy.
Okay.
And that's when and I was telling you before that we used to look up to you too. So I'm gonna
Thank
let my audience know
thank you, man.
you're like the pinnacle of it sounds weird to say, but of a man, what you're supposed to look like and act
Right.
like and everything, because you had that physique back in the days, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so nice to talk to you and
Thank you.
actually hold a conversation with you because I knew you as Andre Agate, the
Yeah.
football star. I think you were modeling. We'll get into that. I don't know if you were modeling back then, but
No,
we'll get into
no,
that.
that
You
was a
were,
few years after.
yeah, it was 3 years after, right? But you were that guy to like admire, right? And to hear that from someone, I don't know if you take it a certain way, but yeah, and you're very humble. So
No, I appreciate that, and I have to let your audience know that things can look a certain way
yeah.
for somebody on from people looking at you from the outside, but inside in high school, I had horrible grades.
Mm,
Horrible. I probably graduated high school with a 55% average. I went skipped more than I went to class, but
mm,
I always had athletics to fall back on. And I went to a football camp at Sir John A. Macdonald one year because I was getting ready to be finished in high school. And I was like,
yeah.
what do I do next? I knew nothing about scholarships, nothing, didn't know anything. I barely watched NCAA football because that was back in the day, there was no internet.
Yeah.
And I remember at the camp, the scouts wanted to give me scholarships. Shout out to Sean Jones from Central Tech. He was there at the camp also. And the scout said to me, "What's your SAT?" I said, "ACT, SAT." I said, "I don't even know what that is." So like, what do you mean? So that's why I wanted to continue my football. I had to go to junior college first in the States. I had to go
Okay.
to Went. I went to Wentworth Military Academy in Lexington, Missouri, a town of 5,000,
Mhm.
a school of 500, boys' school only. Junior high, high school, junior college combined in one.
Mhm.
It was mind blowing. And I couldn't go straight to Division One because I didn't have the SAT, ACT. And so I had to go 2 years in junior college. And then I was fortunate enough to get my scholarship to the University of Wyoming to play football. That was another journey on its own, which I can tell you about.
Yeah, I actually want to get into that.
Yeah.
Um, because I usually ask people, like, especially if I'm interviewing someone from Canada, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, did you go to college or university after? When I interview people in the States, I get their journey, whatever. But for you, let me know. Let's fast forward because
Mm-hmm.
you played football at Vic Park
Yes.
and you liked football, right? You like that?
I This is the story that I'll tell you about. Not many people know this about me.
Hmm.
My dad was a soccer, in his head, a soccer star in Jamaica. My grandfather was the actual soccer star, but my dad was a good player.
Hmm.
They wanted me to play soccer as a youth growing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I'm not joking when I tell you this. They would put me on the soccer pitch. The whole mass of people would be over there. I'd be in the corner holding my short tails,
Hmm.
shy, shy, painfully shy. The soccer coach was a football coach for North York Bandits. Okay.
Okay.
He says, bring your son out to a football team. Maybe we can get him out of this. Star, when they put that helmet on me,
Yeah.
I was a different animal. That's how I started playing football.
Yeah.
And that was what, 12 years old. And so from 12 to high school, I played league. And so that's why I didn't play anything in junior high, basketball or volleyball. Didn't know anything like that. Played
Yeah.
football. And when they put that helmet on me, it was lights out. And I was always known as like an aggressive hitter, aggressive player. I know I don't look like it now, but I was pretty good. I probably my playing weight in university was probably about 230, and
Yeah.
I'm down to 197 now just because of health reasons. Not I'm not in poor health, but I want to improve my health.
Yeah.
And I loved it, man. Football was a wicked sport.
Yeah.
Contact was awesome.
When you say that, I think I remember that back when you played football, like when there was home games,
Yeah.
you were a different person, man. Our team, Nick Fortress, I think Junior
Yes.
Junior Cole was on the team
Oh,
too.
yes.
Yeah, you guys were beasts out there, man.
Yeah. It's a different feeling. Like I look back on it now, watching, I'm like, oh, and I watch the plays, but there was just something just about being that physical, and it
Yeah,
wasn't a narcissistic, demonic thing. Just being that physical with a 12 or 11 men on your team fighting for one
yeah,
common goal and just being able to dominate the person in front of you, but you also get dominated. You get humbled.
yeah,
When I went to the States, went to junior college, it was one level up. I went to Division One, it was another level up.
yeah,
And sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. And I
yeah.
loved it for that.
But there were some big guys then, eh? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
Well, in high school or university.
in university.
Well, that's the thing. My career my career was riddled with injuries because uh, I won't mention his name, but one of our high school coaches always told me, Andre, and not Mr. Ruddy,
Yeah,
Andre, if you want to blow a man up, you hit him with the top of your head, spear him. This is back in the day, you remember, 1990s,
yeah.
90, 1990, 89, 90. And he said, you hit him with the top of your head. And that was the genesis of all my neck problems that I had
What?
in football. So when I went to junior college, um, I was recruited by all these really good schools. I remember Kansas State was coming down to watch me play.
Mm,
I was on the sidelines. I had a neck injury, and they didn't bother offering me a scholarship.
wow.
University of Wyoming, thank God, I got a full scholarship to there, and I only lasted 3 games. I was on the kickoff team. I ran down. I was known as a wedge breaker. Boom, hit the wedge. My whole neck gave out. I damaged my fifth, sixth, and seventh cervical vertebrae. I was almost paralyzed on the field,
What?
and they didn't know that at the time. But I went and I got an MRI with the school's doctor. I went to actually the Denver Broncos doctor. Sorry, and they brought me in a little room and they said, "Son, sorry, but your career is over unless you have this very invasive surgery. And I opted out of it because they wanted to take a piece of bone from my hip,
Yeah.
grind down my fifth, sixth, and seventh cervical vertebrae, fuse that bone. You'll be out for 6 to 8 months with no lifting of weights, and then you can get back out there. And I just thought, my neck was this bad before. What's it going to be like when I get out there? So I got to keep my scholarship, but didn't play out the rest of my days. But at least I
Whoa.
can say I made it.
Yeah. Yo,
Vicious.
drag. I didn't know about this. Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of things I'm hearing is gonna be for the first time on this podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh my
you're gonna hear
God.
a lot of you're gonna hear a lot of things, but one of the things I wanna tell athletes out there, and I have a daughter who runs track and field, and
Mhm.
so I give her my firsthand knowledge and experience on certain things with injuries and mental health and whatnot. You really have to put yourself first over these coaches because
Mhm.
they will run you into the ground.
Some good advice and wisdom. And your daughter's lucky to have you because I've seen a lot of
Mm.
posts and you probably did a lot of training from when she was young. So she has that right mind, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
she's blessed, man. She's on to her final year of running. She's at Purdue University right now.
Mhm.
And so fortunate, man. She spent the first 5 years at Miami University in Ohio,
Mhm.
great school, and then transferred out to Purdue.
Yo,
So she's doing a master's program out there.
how old is she now?
She's now 22, 22.
Oh, so she's a few, younger than
Yeah,
my daughter then.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Daughter's 27. One thing I want to ask you because you're talking about the injuries and everything, did you have people to counsel you? And when I say counsel, I don't mean strangers. I
yeah.
mean family members. Did you have family members to talk to? Because, if you were like me, we didn't really consult with our parents back
Mm-hmm.
in the days. It's more
Mm-hmm.
you're asking your friends for advice, whether it
Yeah,
be dating advice. Oh, should I take this job or what should I do here? Whatever. You're talking to your friends or your
yeah,
girlfriend at the time. I didn't really talk to my parents like that, right? It
yeah.
wasn't the Cosby Show family growing up with me. But I want to know when you had a serious injury like this, who did you turn to at that time?
uh, couldn't turn to my parents because don't forget, I was in the States. So I
Yeah.
would only see them once or twice a year, Christmas and then summers when I'd come back.
Okay.
So I couldn't communicate with them as easily. Because remember, we didn't have
I know.
like all that
Yeah.
technology,
Yeah.
FaceTime and whatnot. I got injured in 1994. So
Yeah.
there was no FaceTime and whatnot. And if you put pen to paper, it's going to take how long?
Yeah.
And then I just wasn't really that type of guy. I don't even talk on the phone now. So I wasn't picking up the phone to talk to my parents.
Okay.
They just had a different mindset and they were loving and they understood my situation.
Mhm.
But my mom didn't play sports. They did what they could for me. All
Mhm.
my boys were back in Canada. The whole crew, everyone was. I left everybody out of high school,
Yeah.
and so they didn't know my situation
Mhm.
because I was in the States. The crew in the States sort of will push you aside because you're no longer with them anymore. Your
Wow.
real boys will stick around. So I
Yeah.
really forged a great relationship with a guy named Amador Porras, a
Mhm.
Mexican, he's from Mexican background from New Mexico. This
Yeah.
man came from the dirt
Mhm.
and rose to now having a huge job in the States, living in San Diego, doing great things. He became my roommate. We saw each other at the student facility one day playing basketball. He goes, "Hey, I'm looking for a roommate. Are you looking for anybody for next year?" And boom, we were like spoon and fork after that.
Yeah.
I got to give it to him, man. He really helped me out.
Wow. Yeah. Because I believe we shouldn't go through those things alone when you have tough decisions to make too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're young too. Like
Yeah.
you're playing football, you're a big, strong guy, but you got emotions and you got sensitivity and you got issues you got to work through. So it
Yeah.
can be tough for athletes because we're supposed to be that tough guy,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm. So, okay, going back to high school for a minute. I remember when I started working out because we had the weight room, we took
Mm-hmm.
energetics. There was a
Yes,
guy named Mr.
Mr. Bernardo.
Renzetti. Bernardo, then there was
Eddie, yeah, yeah.
Renzetti, right? But we started working out and Fonda, Jimmy, everyone started working out. But did you join a gym and work out from home, or were you working out at school a lot? Like, how did you get that
Yeah.
big? Because you were like big when I remember you back in the days.
I didn't really work out that much at school because I had to take the bus all the way back to North York at the end of every day after practice. So I didn't hang out a lot I started with, you remember the green weights and
Yes.
those skinny
Yeah.
1 inch bar and the green weights, you get
Yeah.
them from consumers distributing back in the day.
Yeah.
The spin on the collar and the little bench at home,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
dangerous thing. Don't recommend it. You can choke. I
Yeah.
started with that at my in my garage, and then I moved up and I went to Valley Total Fitness on Gordon Baker 404 and DVP
Oh,
area,
yes. 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 Yes.
Finch and 404,
Yeah.
and met some great friends there, and then trained to go to the States, and then lifted my weights in the States. But I cut my teeth over at Valley Total Fitness.
Bally's. Yeah. I remember Bally's, man. Yeah.
Bally's, one fun fact about Bally's, they had the #1 aerobic program. You would have
Mhm.
to line up for hours if you wanted to get into a class there.
Yeah.
It was jam packed.
Yeah.
Not that I was taking step aerobics, but I just remember watching everybody get hyped.
Yes. Back in the days.
Yes.
Okay. Now, one thing I like to ask people though, and I want to see if I know who you're gonna talk mention. I
Mhm.
like to see if you had any influential teachers in a negative way or a positive way or both, because sometimes we have those teachers that still resonate with us today. And when I ask my guests this question, they know their name and they're like, "Yep, Mr. So and so, he told me this and he inspired me." But then there's also some teachers that were like didn't have faith in you or looked down on you in some way and you wanted to prove them wrong. Do you have any examples like that?
You're gonna think this is crazy. High school was a blur for me,
Oh, wow. Okay.
full blur,
Hmm.
100%. I don't know how. Only for the grace of God, I don't know how I got through it. I don't remember doing homework. I skipped a whole lot of school.
Yeah.
I don't know how I was able to even stay on the football team. Coach Ruddy was a great teacher for me. He was a
Hmm.
great mentor. That man, the head football coach and the teacher for a few classes,
Yeah.
he was probably my rock at high school.
Hmm.
And then Coach Bernardez was one of the uh, assistant coaches on. I don't know if you remember Coach Bernardez.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He had come from UFT. He was a player at UFT, great
Yep.
player, and then he came down to coach. So those two definitely stand out in my mind. Other than that, I really don't remember a whole bunch of my teachers. It's kind of
Yeah.
sad to say.
No, no, but I know what you mean. There's always like one or two that you remember, but just like you, I don't know if it's our age, but I don't know. It erased a lot. Like my mind erased a lot of names
Dude, I,
where
I I used to hit a lot, so
yeah,
I don't think I have CTS.
CT,
What do you
yeah,
call
I
it?
know that.
The brain damage,
Yeah.
but there's a lot I don't remember. So it could be because of all that hitting I used to do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, now when you talk about having the scholarship, football, the injury you told me now, what did you graduate from? And
Yeah.
I really want to get into now, when did that modeling career start? And I don't know if that came before you did personal training, but tell me about the graduation part and
Right.
how you transitioned to modeling.
So I'm going to keep it 100% real with y'all.
Yeah.
I was in a big funk after I got injured playing football. I shout out to some of the counselors at that school, Coach Francis. I'm not Coach Francis, Counselor Francis. She was the athletic counselor for the teams, sports
Yeah.
teams. She was amazing to help me get through that transition of being a student athlete to just being a student. And I mean, I graduated with sociology, some degree
Okay.
which I never wound up using.
Yeah.
And but I was grateful to graduate after 5 years down there. The best thing for my life was to go to Wentworth Military Academy
Mhm.
because it was up at 6 o'clock in the morning, marching to breakfast, marching back, playing football, wearing dress blues and uniform every day, all day.
Yeah.
You either sunk or you swam when you went to that school. Some of the kids,
Hmm.
and then moving on to the University of Wyoming. Now, upon graduating from the University of Wyoming, this is where the fun begins.
Hmm.
So I was at Gordon Baker Bally's over there, and a friend that I had introduced me to this girl. And she said she wants to give a proposal to you. I'm like, okay. She goes, how would you like to make some free money? This is what the girl said to me. That girl wound up being my future wife. And
Okay.
she's like, I think you can model. Keep in mind, I was 230 pounds. It's like a brick, a neck like just
Yeah.
massive.
I
And I
remember.
had no idea what modeling was, not a clue. I had
Mhm.
like a size 18-inch neck. What button shirt collars did I have?
Yeah.
So she actually brought me down to the modeling agency. That was in 1998, 99, right after coming back from school.
Mm.
And they ask you when you get to the modeling agencies, take your clothes off so we can get some body shots of you because they figured the category I would go into was like fitness modeling, underwear modeling, but they told me I had to trim down. And I think from the look in all of their eyes, the five people that were taking a Polaroid of me, seeing all the hair and the muscles, because most models have no hair and they're slim,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it worked out, man. It
Wow.
really, really, it was the biggest blessing. I was for about 12 to 15 years. I was the official, unofficial Calvin Klein in Canada's fit model.
Yeah.
So anytime they had at events, anytime they needed fitting for the new lines coming in, smooching with the clients, going to charity events, I was in my underwear for at least 12 years straight. And I had the most amazing career in modeling.
Yeah. You tell me something now. I remember, audience, listen to what I'm saying now. I remember going to, for those of you from Canada and from Toronto, Scarborough Town Center,
Oh, yeah.
and I see a big picture of Andre in the middle of the mall, and I'm like, yo, that's Dre from high school, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I'd be flipping through, I don't know if it was the Sears catalog, some one of the
Eaton's,
Eaton's,
Holt
yeah,
Renfrew, all of those things I was part of.
yes.
I have to let the audience know I am the farthest thing from a male model.
Mm,
Like now, even back then, didn't know anything about the industry. I just literally fell into it, and it just worked out. And I was so fortunate to get these jobs, man. I don't. I wasn't a great model, but I think I was able to communicate. So I think the
okay.
clients really liked me. I was
Yeah.
a humble guy, and they liked having me around. They know I wasn't going to cause any problems. In
Mm,
fact, a lot of jobs I was booked on when it came to like group, whether it's fashion shows or shoots,
mhm.
they brought me in to sort of like keep the attitude down on the young guys coming in, show them the way. But I
Okay.
was not a model. I didn't have the mindset. Like people would tell me all about, yo, they're doing cocaine over here, they're drinking here during the fashion shoots. I was like, what? I don't know anything about that. But
Mm,
it's a crazy world. It is a lot of crazy stuff goes on. I didn't partake in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did a lot. And I don't know if this is a blur to you too,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm telling you, I remember seeing you almost every year. I don't even know when, but you had the pictures in the mall, you opened the catalog. The next thing I know is Dre's doing this. So I don't know if that's a blur to you and it went so fast. But did you know that one day, like just picture yourself being a model in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that one day you would be doing all these things for that 12, whatever you said, how many years? Did you
Mm-hmm.
know you'd be in it for that long? And that it would lead to other things too, because you started
Mm-hmm.
acting as well.
Mm-hmm. So I had no idea it was going to go that long. And it
Mm.
went longer. The 12 years was with Calvin Klein, and I extended it after that.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why I left the industry, which we can talk about. But it was not a blur. I learned to appreciate every moment of it. And
Okay.
like I should pull up a picture at one point. I was on Harlequin book covers, and I was never one. I don't have character to my face. Like I can't raise an eyebrow, and I have small eyes, so I can't. It looks like I'm squinting. And the
Yeah.
cameraman would tell me, "You'll make love to the co-model, like a female, on the
Yeah.
cover of Harlequin book covers." And I'm like, I can't make a sexy face, man. I
Yeah.
did capture it, a few times, but
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that I would be on Harlequin book cover. I would go places
Mhm.
in this world, and people like, I know you from somewhere,
Yeah.
and they're like, I go, nah, but they nail it where they'd see me on a book cover or a show that where they're walking downtown by the Eaton Center outside for whatever, me prancing around in my underwear on the stage. And so it was a good time. It was definitely a good time. But there was a transition
Yeah. It's
where
transition.
I got into not so much acting. I got a lot of commercials called Silent on Camera, a lot of U.S. national commercials, and
Okay.
those checks were very nice. And my my most memorable one was down in by Regent Park. There was some brownstones down there. We were doing a secret deodorant commercial. It was just me and this. We actually a mirror image of each other. This white guy, and we
Yeah.
had our shirts off, and we had to lift this massive cast iron bathtub up the brownstone steps. And
Yeah.
there was a girl inside, secret deodorant. She's sweating, seeing us coming in, deliver her
Yeah.
tub.
Yeah.
She puts on the deodorant and keeps cool.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of commercials like that, and then I got into some stunt work, um, and that was great because I could parlay my athleticism,
Mhm.
into the stunt work. So
So, okay, you know how you were saying when you were younger, you were more reserved or whatever and quiet and stuff like that, and then you broke out of your shell. Now let's stick to this modeling thing for a minute.
mhm,
So, was it like a shocker for you to be in this industry?
very much,
And yeah, and then you're with other models, female models too, and you're like, okay, I'm green, like I gotta
yeah,
learn. And you probably progressed in the years to come, like you said, you were the go-to guy. But wasn't that beginning like, wow, what
very
do I
much
do
so.
here? Yeah.
My first job was with Eaton's, and it was a very first job. It was a big campaign for Eaton Center, not
Mhm.
Eaton Center, but the Eaton's store.
Yeah.
They had a beautiful campaign, and my agent pulled me to the side, and they said, Andre, this is a big job. Like we were going up north. There was probably a cast and crew of 20 to 25 people, and they paid great money. And they said, they're trusting in you.
Mm.
I went, oh God, my first shoot, never done anything before. Got
Yeah.
up there, the clients pulled me to the side. They told me how it's going to happen. Nailed it, man. I just, I was just me, and I was just being humble, and I just let it flow.
Mhm.
At that point, my shyness had almost disappeared.
Yeah.
Still a humble, reserved person, but I realized that you just got to give the people what they want, and it was a great experience.
Beautiful.
Even still now, I
Mhm.
remember the biggest advice I had when I had my first underwear show in front of like 2,000 people. They said never look people in the eye. Always look over the person's head. So when I went out in front of 2,000 people in my underwear, literally in nothing, I look over their head and they think I'm looking at the person behind them. And I also was like, listen, this person will never be up here. Like, not because they don't want to, not I don't mean cocky like that. I'm gifted, so they're looking at me as the vote of confidence. They're looking at me like I know what I'm doing. So I
Mhm.
gotta try to play the part.
Yeah.
And I just sort of rolled with it.
Yeah. Yo,
But it was
thanks for
nerve wracking.
yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
One thing I want to know is did when did you start cutting weight? Because you did cut weight.
Yeah. So I took up road cycling, road
Mhm.
like Lance Armstrong riding,
Yeah,
and the weight just started dropping off. And
dropping
I
off.
took up beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Then beach volleyball first came into the Olympics in Atlanta Olympics
Hmm.
around the time. And I spent a lot of time on the beach, and the weight was just pruning off. So I got down to about 205, 200 pounds, and
Yeah.
just ripped. And I went on the zone diet. I don't know if you remember that zone,
No,
Into
I
the
don't.
Zone by Barry Sears,
No, I don't.
and actually had to stop it because I was getting veins going through my stomach. My agent was like, "Yo, you got to stop this because I
Yeah.
was way too ripped." So if
Mhm.
anybody wants to get in great shape and get hormonally balanced, go check out Enter the Zone by Barry Sears. A great read, simple. The
Wow.
way we should all be eating.
Okay. Wait, were you always a good eater too, where you didn't have to worry about
No,
choking?
no, no. I
Oh,
grew up on pizza when it came on the wax paper and all that.
yeah,
No, I
yeah,
grew
yeah,
up on that. You remember those times?
yeah, yeah.
And but I was always moving, so I burned it off. It was just because of
Okay.
football, you're lifting weights and you're eating as much as you can to get big.
Yeah.
But I eat my fair share of junk food and candy, unfortunately.
Okay. Yes, that's my downfall too. Okay. One question I before we move on, did you have any experiences with quote unquote famous people from the States in the modeling world where you're like, oh, you're modeling with them or you met them?
Yeah, a couple different people. So interesting. Sorry, I'm racking my brain. Um, I've always been an entrepreneur, so I remember I launched. I'm moving forward in my modeling career at this point. I'm about 10 years in, and I remember my agent, my acting agent, was like, "Listen, uh, we can't tell you who it is, but they want you to be part of this film to be a body double and his stand-in." And I was like, "Listen, I'm getting ready to launch a fitness product." Uh, Subsequently, we were on the Dragon's Den and we got a deal. That
Oh,
was a different story.
yeah.
But I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. He came back to me a month later and said, this person really, really wants you to be their agent, wants you to be the representative for this guy. Can't do it. He said, listen, they came back a third time, like a couple of weeks later. It's your last chance. Will Smith wants you to be his body double for the Suicide Squad. I said, I can't do it. and I turned it down, and I should have taken it, just because it would have worked out. I would have been able to, in hindsight, look back and work it out. But I did some work on the Suicide Squad, but my buddy actually wound up taking the job.
Yeah.
I like to tell him every now and again, I gave you that job because it ran for like a good year, and he made some nice cheddar.
Good
So
coin.
yeah, Will Smith. That was one thing that I turned that down. That would have been interesting. And then I remember I was in LA. I was shooting for Macy's West catalog,
Mm,
and look over to the left. It's Brad Pitt in the little boutique hotel we were staying at. I don't
yeah.
know. I can't remember who he was with, but he was at dusk in the pool. Yeah, sitting right there.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, rubbed some
Yeah.
shoulders with some people, and experienced a whole lot of things down in LA that again, not that was partaking
Yeah.
in, but I was like, wow, this is what it's like over here.
Yeah.
I
Here,
don't think it.
yo, Dre, here's an off-topic question then. When we're young, we didn't have social media, as you know, right?
No,
And we had this magazine called The Inquirer, and you don't believe these stories in there.
yeah,
And then you come to find out now, how many years later, there's a lot of weird things that go on in the music industry in
hmm,
Hollywood. Did you know in advance some of the things that were going on and I'm not talking about personally, just overall, like this is how it really is because you were kind of in that modeling world and stuff,
yeah,
where you're like, I heard Tyson Bedford. Oh, he had a great interview that I watched him in, but there's a lot of stuff that we didn't know about. Where you're finding out now, everyone's telling their true story, how they were treated, and the drugs, and the. Were you like in the know back in the day, and you're like, oh, it's all a facade when you see them on TV, things like that?
yeah. It's all a facade. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how somebody can go unless they're just a narcissist and this is the way they like to be. I don't know how some of these people can keep that persona up 100% in their life. And I
yeah.
think once they get in front of the clients to keep the jobs, some people act out of character and think that's what they have to do when they really don't have to do that.
Mm,
So there was a couple of people. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm like, what are you doing? You don't have to carry on like that. And they don't last long and
yeah,
they get burnt out. But there was a couple of things that happened to me. If I was a woman, I would have been like, this is terrible. You know, fondled a whole bunch by clients.
yeah,
And I don't think I really recognized that at the time. But when I look back on it, the serial amount of times it happened, I was like, holy smoke, this person was stalking me.
yeah,
And again, I'm a man, so good or bad, we tend to brush those things under the carpet a little more than the women do,
yeah.
which is a terrible thing if it ever happens to somebody. But I look back on it, I'm like, wow, that person was really bold. They were really bold because I'm in my underwear
Hmm.
and things are happening.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
Wild, wild times, and I'm keeping it very PG for you,
Yeah.
man.
I know. Yeah. I know. I know. Um, okay, you did some the acting, the extra work and stuff. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to actually tell me some of the not too detailed, but you did tell me before we started recording, anything serious happened
Mm-hmm.
when you started like the acting thing and then the stuntman thing. Tell me about that.
Yeah, one story. Downtown at by Cherry Street, the Hearn,
I know Cherry
that
Street.
old factory that they use for shoots.
Okay,
It's
I know
all
what you're talking about.
gutted. It's like very apocalyptic looking.
Yeah.
These I got to give it up to these stuntmen. Like there's tiers to stuntmen. Just because you're a junior stuntman, don't mean that you can go and jump off buildings and like fight scenes and everything. No, there are levels to this thing.
Mm.
And one of the what was it was the zombie movie that was filmed, TV series that was filmed here a few years ago, for quite a while. I was on that for many years, but there was one stuntman. He had to. I guess he got shot up in the rafters,
Okay.
about 5 to 6 stories up. Had a whole bunch of harnesses on him, ropes, and as he jumped off, he had the awareness, and it was dark. He had the awareness to know the rope was being wrapped around his neck, and he unwrapped it, and then he fell, and then bottomed out on the rope, and it stretched. Boom, and as soon as he landed, they said, "Okay, that's a wrap, folks." And everyone's like, that's a wrap. We're only halfway into this day. I guess they had to go and do the checks and balances and see what happened up there because this
Yeah.
man's head would have popped right off his shoulders.
Jeez,
And
man.
if it wasn't for his awareness of doing the repetition of stuntman over and over, he would have never have survived that. So there are some crazy things that have happened with shooting guns and blanks and whatnot that you get the shrapnel. And you really have to respect the job when you see these guys doing all these different scenes in the movies that entertain us. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, and sometimes I wonder about the actors who do their real stunt. I heard Tom Cruise does his stunts.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
with Jackie Chan, you first started seeing Jackie
oh
Chan
yeah.
in those movies, and you're like, yo, these guys do their own. That's like crazy,
As
man.
as as much as we laugh at with what's the name of the first guy you just mentioned?
Jackie Chan,
No,
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. As much as we laugh at Tom Cruise when he's jumping on the Oprah couch,
Yeah.
he does his own stunts, or did, or still does to whatever level, and
Mhm.
it is tough, man. And there's fatalities every year, and I give it up to him for being able to accomplish that.
Yeah.
So definitely, he puts a good. He has a lot of pride in his craft.
Yeah. Whew, that takes a lot. Um, Career-wise now. So you did the modeling for all these number of years and things like that. What did you do as a day job? Like when did you say, okay, this is enough? Because I don't know if you want to get into how you got out of the modeling. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened there. And then now you got to work a day job. What happened there?
yeah. That was interesting. That was an interesting time. So the modeling and acting was pretty much full time for me. I was a trainer off and on. I had a little studio at the house.
Yeah.
Didn't have more than five clients.
Mhm.
I loved that aspect of it, but that was a full time thing for me. And I did really well at it. And then I unfortunately got separated, divorced, and we still co-parent wonderfully now. Lovely lady, two beautiful kids. But I said to myself, there has to be more to what I'm doing. And because I'm not using my brain. So
Yeah.
I left everything behind, dropped it all. I could have still been working.
Wow.
And because I had just gotten into stunt work, and stunt work pays amazing.
Mm.
And I enrolled in a 5 year apprenticeship program to become a refrigeration mechanic. Not fridges, but refrigeration is the cycle of moving heat from one area to another area, heating and cooling. And so I was had a great trajectory in that. I was in my second year of a 5 year apprenticeship, doing really well. Most apprentices at my level, the company would never send them out to do jobs on their own. I was sent out to do big man work, and then that all came crashing down one day.
Mm.
Do you remember when the Rogers network went down,
Yep.
2022?
Yep.
So I was leaving the CIBC at Warden and Finch, and I had to go to send some money to Jamaica. And I left there to go to the money mart to send off the funds or cash money or whatever it was called. I made a left onto Warden. There was a red light. There was a dump truck stopped. I went in front of the dump truck. We waited for the light to turn green. Light turned green, and he bashed me from behind from a standstill. And I look up in my mirror and I see this dump truck in my rear view mirror. My window is down. He bumps me. He then pushes me sideways for about 150 feet down the road to Warden and Finch intersection. The car is jumping around, and I literally made my peace with God because I thought I was going to flip. And the car came to a dead stop at the intersection. And that day, there was probably about 100 people at the bus stop because it was a hot day. The network was down, and all I could hear was the diesel dump truck engine in my ear because my window was down and hearing women scream. And unless you see a picture of what happened, you can't even really conceptualize it. Why he didn't stop, I don't know. Whether he was on drugs or tired, he was pulling another trailer, so maybe he thought it was too heavy and he had to keep gearing down to get more power.
Mm.
And that changed my life for about 3 years. I ended my career. I couldn't lift. I had elbow surgery. My hand is has nerve damage. I can't function as well as it used to. But it really helped me sort of look at life a different way.
Mhm.
When I tell you I'm appreciative before, I am tenfold more appreciative of life after my accident. I went through a court case and not court case, lawsuit with this company and whatnot, and they make you go through the hoops when you get in an accident. So if anybody needs to know anything about if you get in an accident and how to handle it, just hit me up. I'm your guy. But
Wow.
it was a hell of a thing for 3 years, and I'm thankfully over it. I'm supposed to get another surgery, but I'm holding off on that because the hand is not functioning properly.
Hmm.
But I can tell you, man, I love life more now than I did before the accident.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Because you were probably dealing with, even from the time after it happened till now,
Yeah.
depression, anxiety, maybe in
Yeah.
different situations. Can you tell me about that too?
So I've never been one to be a depressed person. Never
Okay.
really been. We have anxiety, sports anxiety before games, thinking of certain things in life. Never been an anxious person, but I can tell you, it's like I want you to look at it like this because I went through therapy, not so much because I wanted to go through therapy, but my lawyers, you got to go through therapy, you got to
Yeah.
document everything. And then I started thinking, I really do need to talk to these people. I do
Mhm.
need to talk to this therapist. And I explained to her, she said, tell me how you feel. And I said, imagine you're a tiger in the jungle. You're a lion. You eat anything you want. And then one day someone puts you in the cage and they pull out your teeth. That's the way I felt in life. I felt like a toothless tiger because I went from being super physical, like lifting whatever I want at work, 200 pounds above my head, holding up a heat pump while someone bolts it in. No,
Mhm.
I'm your guy.
Yeah.
To not be able to do any of that. And when you're used to also road biking and getting your physical fitness with lifting weights and going for runs and whatever it is, and you can't do any of that physically and mentally, it starts to take a toll on you, almost like the ancient Chinese water drip torture.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. So how has your journey been? I'm wondering if your experience of training, you train people, so I wonder if that
Yeah.
helped out in your recovery. How has that journey been for you,
My
getting
journey
back
was,
because you're documenting it now and I'm seeing it.
yeah. Yeah. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see a couple of the pictures or posts are pinned, the top three. The first one, for whoever wants to go check it out, is shows you a little insight in my life, much like we're talking here. And it talks about the journey from university to my accident. And then the second pin shows my weight transformation because when I got injured, I started eating and drinking like crap. I didn't care about anything. Like,
Mm.
everything was taken from me. I can't work. And all I just had to do was just sit down and eat and drink. And I got up to about 230 pounds again, not university weight, but
Wow.
fat weight.
Yeah.
And my partner in life sent me a photo dump of a vacation we went on. And the very last picture was that first picture in that post where I was there flossing and my stomach hanging out. And I just said to myself, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And I changed my diet and I started moving a little bit as much as I could because of my injuries.
Hmm.
And before you knew it, I'm down 35 pounds and I feel amazing. Feel amazing.
Nice.
I'm probably, and aside from like, your skin doesn't hold up as it used to when you're younger, I
Hmm.
feel like I'm back in my modeling shape days. I'm not going to be doing Calvin Klein underwear modeling anytime soon, but I feel great.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that story. And you are getting back into something like that. Is it modeling to
Yeah.
acting, something you tell
Yeah.
you?
The funny thing is, I said to myself, okay, what am I going to do? I have some time. I allotted myself a certain grace period to get back into the workforce. My old boss offered me to come back. I can't handle the rigorous days. But then I thought, why don't I go back into modeling, man? I got a little bit gray in my beard. I know the industry a little bit. I have connections with agencies, and I contacted my very first modeling agency, B&M Model Management,
Yeah.
and I sent them an email. I said, hey, I don't know if you remember me. This is going back 20 something years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember me. I was on your roster. They emailed me back the next day, said, oh my gosh, Andre, come in and come and talk to us. We'd love to see what you have going on. I
Wow.
went in, and you know what they said to me? The one main booker there was a junior booker when I first got there. Now she's the head woman. And then the owner of the agency said, Andre, before you emailed us, we thought about you the day before. We manifested you coming in, and there you were. I'm not even joking. When I stayed there for about 2 hours talking to them, and goosebumps were all over our arms when I was there because it was the same office. And when they said we manifested you coming back to us, the day before you emailed us, it's where I needed to land. So I've started my journey back again into the modeling world, not so much the acting. I'm
Yeah.
not looking to get back into. Did
Okay.
my first shoot about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Did pretty well, and
Nice.
just waiting for the next few to come in.
Let's go.
Let's do
Yes,
it, man. Let's
Trey.
do it. Let's do it. I'm older now, so don't look for that boy image. But get me in a suit with a little gray, that little knowledge.
Mm.
Should be okay.
Nice, Jay. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, I have a question for you. It's a would you rather question because we got to wrap up soon.
Yes, sir.
Um, it's a would you rather question,
Oh boy.
and I like to see what my audience says, my guests say. Would you rather visit yourself and give them advice for the future, your younger self, and
Yes.
give them advice for the future, or would you rather visit your older self and have them give you advice for what's going on right now? And I think I might want to ask you when you're in your modeling career, like think back at least 10, 15 years ago, would you want to give your younger self advice or would you want your older self to give you advice of what's going on at that moment?
Well, it's two-part answer. I would want to go back to the modeling days and give myself advice,
Mm,
but I would take it back years before that, and I would give my younger self some advice because I didn't see the forest through the trees.
mm,
I tell the young people I come in contact with because I used to give back. I used to coach a little bit at Central Tech for some speed camps and whatnot, and I really and actually some camps with gang members and whatnot. I was brought out to speak to some youth, and young people can't see the forest through the trees, man. And I've amassed so much life knowledge and wisdom over the past 20, 30 years that if I can go back and tell myself, oh, listen, strive a little bit more, pay a little more attention to what's going on around you and what people are telling you, the older heads, they're not doing it because they want to nitpick the majority of them. And I love my life, but I know I'd be in a different place if I had that wisdom back then.
mm. Yes, yes. It's so interesting when I ask that question because I like to see the different perspectives people
Mm-hmm.
say about giving advice. So now, this last question, there's four parts to it. You can answer them as quick as you want. Whether my guests pick their younger or older self, this is about your younger self. What would you tell your younger self about money?
Money. Oh, save it.
Mm,
Save it, save it, save it. I spent so much money on pizza and magazines that if I could have a fraction of that money back in my account, getting some interest and a little financial literacy, being a great base. I'm fortunate now, but save it. I tell my daughters that all the time, man. Grind now, put your money away so you can be a little more easy when you get older.
yes, I taught my daughter that too. She's good with money right now.
Nice.
What would you tell your younger self about friends?
Well, friends, wow. You know, I wasn't antisocial. I didn't put myself out there enough back in the days. I would say experience life a little more. I was so heavily focused on athletics that I would have taken time to really know people better because I went through university and I have a couple of really good contacts that I have remained now, but I met so many people, man. And I wish I could meet those people again because it would be a totally different thing.
Mm, yes. What would you tell your younger self about family?
Man, family. Wow. Mm, you struck a nerve with that one, man. You know, family is everything. But even though it's everything, you don't always get along. And I lost my dad about 3 years ago. And if I can go back and tell him things, how I really felt, listen to him a little bit more, I would give my right arm for that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow. What what would you tell your younger self about love?
Woo! Wow. I would say nurture it, man. When you're younger and you're a stud and this and that, you don't think about it as much. But when you get older and your health is maybe not where it wants to be, or just getting older, you want to have that special person because your kids, you'll have love for your kids. Your kids will be there hopefully for you, and you'll have that love and friends. but definitely find that one person that really you can connect with and you can share experience with because there's nothing more special than that.
Mm. Bam. What is one of the this is just I just want to hear what you say about this. What's one of the best life lessons that you learned in all your years?
And it goes back to I'll never forget this scenario. It was University of Wyoming, 1997. I wasn't playing football anymore. I was in the student union lifting weights, minding my own business. And I'm just going to use race because I'm going to use race because Wyoming only had 0.5% minority population.
Mm.
And this old white man came up to me in the student union. Didn't have to. And he said to me, "You're Andre Agate." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I know you were injured and whatnot. And you're not playing football anymore, but he had, if you ever need anything, take my business card. If you need anything when you go back to Canada, you give me a call." I literally went back to my dorm and I threw the card away. Sitting at home in Toronto, Canada, maybe 5 years later, I was watching CNN. Ex-senator of Wyoming, they gave him a state funeral. So you never know who you come across in life. You never know. That's why I say if you can just see the forest to the trees. I'm not saying I would have used that man,
Mhm.
but he was giving me an olive branch. He was giving me a gift. Listen, son, we don't look the same. We don't come from the same regions. I want to help you, man. And I just couldn't see it. Not because I didn't care for him because he was white,
Yeah,
but I just was so wrapped up in my own head.
I get it.
There's a lot of people that want to help in this life, man. And that was one crazy. If I can go back and change that aspect, I would have really hung on to certain things.
Wow. Okay, Dre, this has been a great podcast. We might have to do another one, man.
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes,
great.
sir.
This and there's so many stories that you probably have that I want to hear too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but we're gonna do the last thing here before I do the donations. I got two cards in my hand,
Okay,
and you're gonna tell me which one to read out, the Blue Jays or the Raptors.
okay. Well, let's go with the Blue Jays. I was never a fan before, but this playoffs really turned me into one.
There you go. What is one of the most memorable shit? What is one of the most memorable moments of your life?
Wow. Whew. This is one that I'm just thinking of this now. Think about it every now and again. My grandmother was like my best friend. She grew up, she was Jamaican, and excuse me, my mother was very close to her. So when she was needed cancer treatment, she flew up from. She could have gone to Florida, but she came to Canada and stayed with my mom at the house with me. And I was in between university, I think, for freshman year, and she was dying on the bed, and I'd have to lift her off the bed, put her on the toilet, and then put her back. And she looked at me one day. I don't know how she knew, but she looked at me and she goes, "Andre, love one woman." And I'm just out of high school. We were trying to hear anything. I didn't understand what she was telling me, but she said to me, "Andre, in your life, love one woman. You know, not that you'll be with the same woman your whole life, but when you find that person, just love them." So that memory has always stuck with me. And I haven't always practiced it, but you know, it really has always stuck with me because she was trying to teach me something back then. You know us in high school, man. We were wild, man. It was a wild time, VP.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and now we're reflecting on everything, you know what I mean? And when
yeah.
we talk to people we haven't seen in a long time, there's things that come up that we forgot about too.
Well, there's a lot of things I reflect back on. I'm like, wow, that really touched me. But for someone I loved, when she told me that,
Yeah.
she really had her best interest, my best interest at heart.
And you never forget that. That's
Never
amazing.
forget that.
That's amazing. Oh, okay. Jay, we're at the donation part now.
Yes, sir.
I know you gotta go, man. You gotta go.
No problem, man. No problem.
Hmm.
You got something.
So I donate to charities after every episode. I think you know this. And the charities are Claws, Kawartha Lakes Animal Wellness Society. My boy Kevin Blagrove, as you know him, he has a sports camp, Juku Sports for kids. I have the Fundraiser Warriors, the shirt I have on. And then Liam's Mission. He's a little boy. He was on my podcast. He's born with cystic fibrosis. Um, He donates to his mother donates to a lot of charities as well, sick kids and all that. So by the color, tell me which one you want me to pop: green, blue, yellow, or orange. I'll see who I'm donating to.
Okay. I just found out a fun fact the other day. White cabs are yellow because it's the most vibrant, attractive color, and that's why they made them yellow back in the day. Let's go yellow.
Let's go yellow. All right. Episode 109 with Andre Agate, my high school boy.
Sir,
Star Scorpio will be donating to. I'm going to hold it up to see if you see it too. Oh, the last one I mentioned. I don't know if you can see. I know you
your
can't really see it.
lung.
Liam's mission. I know it looks like a lung, eh? It is.
Is it? Yeah, yeah.
You can see, right?
Nice.
Yeah, it's Liam's mission, cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
Oh, that one hasn't been picked in a while. Beautiful.
Nice. Lovely.
Andre, last thing I want to ask you before you go is I know there's a lot of people. I used to ask this to a lot of my guests, and I skip some podcasts. But there's some people that want to give up on life. They're on their last end. They're trying to make it in something. Do
Yeah.
you have any words of advice for someone who's at their wits' end and they have no hope?
Wow. I would say one more day, one more step. You never, life is so, listen, you could be flying high and be brought back down. But the worst thing can happen. You can be real low and then you shoot to the stars. You never know what tomorrow will bring you if you just go that one more step. I always told people that I knew that were trying to either, attain something. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And if you can just calm your mind, seek some help if you have to with a trusted source, find it. If you have to talk to yourself, talk yourself up, but just hold on that one more go because you never know what can happen. And I'm a living testament to that in many ways.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes. Thanks for those words of wisdom. Let the people know before we sign off where they can find you because you are documenting your journey too, and that might inspire some people. So how can they find you on the Instagrams, the Facebooks, whatever?
Yeah, it's just Andre Agate, Andre Agate, Agate on Instagram. That's it. Simple and plain. There's no fancy this and that. It just documents what I love to do with road biking, having fun. And I'm going to be switching it up a little bit, so you'll see some more content on there.
Sweet. Episode 109. Thank you for being on the show. Real
Yes,
Talk
sir.
with Star Scorpio, and we out.
All right. Bless, sir.